I know it's not howdy doody time, but it's time for me to share with you a little bit about what's on my mind, my little tiny pea brain today. And I have a name for my Devar Torah today: revenge, air conditioning, and other things we think we can control. Oh man, this is some Shabbos. When I introduced the Torah reading today, I mentioned about that it said, take revenge for Bnei Israel against Midian. It says that. And I told you that. And I said that causes a problem. Why? Because the Torah also tells us in a prior book of Torah, never take revenge. It's against Jewish law to take revenge. And here it says, God tells Moshe, take revenge for Bnei Israel against Midian. We got a problem. Hey, Yerushalayim, we got Soros here. Well, how can you say to take revenge when you say you can't take revenge? What's the deal? What are we supposed to take um, our grudges and just forget about them, but keep a holy scorecard and that's it, but don't do anything about it? Okay, let's find out. Rabbi Shimshon Raphael Hirsch, who was a modern Orthodox, he was kind of the head of more of the modern Orthodox thinking, not the modern Orthodox group, but the thinking, explains that not all vengeance is the same. Personal revenge is forbidden. But Midian isn't personal revenge. That's a totally different thing. They were not merely attacking bodies. They were attacking the spiritual foundations of Bnei Israel's modesty and faith in God and in public. You know, if if I'm a if I'm going to go and I'm not, let's say I'm not a terrorist, but I'm just a bad person, and I want to walk down the street and stab you. Not, I don't know if you're Jewish or not. I just want to stab you. Your family can't take revenge against me because it was personal. I just did it to you. But if I'm a terrorist representing a country like Hamas or something, and I blow up a bus, that's a whole nother story. That's what this is. That's what Rabbi Hirsch is trying to explain. This thing here with Midian is not a neighborhood dispute. It's a spiritual identity theft. That's what it is. So, the war against Midian is not about hurt feelings, or certainly not about taking the last piece of gefilte fish, lox, or God forbid, gribenes. That's not what it's about. It's about stopping a force that tried to pull Bnei Israel away from God. That kind of danger required action, not grudge holding, but spiritual and physical self-defense. We understand this idea in our own way today. Some enemies know they cannot defeat us directly, so they try to wear us down through lies, propaganda, fear, confusion, and pressure. If you don't believe me, just read the paper. They hope we will trade our values for temporary comfort. In other words, they offer us a bargain. And here's the bargain: we will sign anything you want us to sign, but we have no intention of following it. We're going to ignore it, and we're going to keep doing whatever the hell we want to do. Sound familiar? Anyway, speaking of temporary comfort, summer reminds us how quickly our values are tested when the air conditioning dies. Suddenly, we discovered new levels of prayer. We discover new types of humility. And we bargain. We bargain with God, master of the universe. Avinu Shabashamayim, our parent who is in heaven. If you send an HVAC repair technician today, I will never complain again. I'll keep Shabbos. I'll keep kosher. I'll do anything you want. And by the third hour, when they still didn't show up, you name your child Puron. You know, that is when Mishlei, or Proverbs, or the wisdom of King Solomon reminds us, quote, many thoughts are in a person's heart, but God's advice will prevail, unquote. Or as the classic Yiddish wisdom translates that, man plans and God laughs, especially when adjusting the thermostat during a power failure. Moshe understood this. He knew this. He didn't have air conditioning then, but he knew this. When God told him to fight Midian and then his time on earth can end, in other words, Moshe's life was coming to an end. He knew it. He wasn't allowed to go into the promised land, to go to Eretz Yisrael. He couldn't go. He knew it. He accepted that by this point. But he couldn't die until he resolved this problem with Midian. That's what God was saying. So Moshe did not delay. He didn't want to delay anymore the children of Israel going into their land, the promised land. He didn't want to delay it. And I'm about to sneeze to prove that I'm telling the truth. Good, it went away. Anyway, I am telling the truth. He didn't want to delay it. He wanted the Bnei Israel to go to the promised land already. It's been 40 years. But he knew he was going to die, and that was okay. His job was not done. But later on, Yehoshua, on the other hand, later slows down his wars because he thought that it might extend his life. But you know what? You can't fool God. No, you cannot fool God. You can try to outsmart God. We can try. But you know what? God has been in business a lot longer than any of us have. So you can't fool God. And Yehoshua didn't. But we all try. We all know exactly how everyone else should behave. We know this. My neighbor should be more considerate to me. My friends should call more often. More people should invite me over. And everyone should regularly praise my Divrei Torah and my singing voice, preferably in public and in writing. But Torah asks us to begin with ourselves, not with other people. If something is wrong, we should speak honestly and kindly to that person and let them hear us. If they listen and if they do anything and they improve according to what we ask for, that's great. But if they don't, maybe we should look to ourselves to become better. Maybe it's us that isn't so good. Maybe we should be calmer and less judgmental. Is this annoying? Absolutely, yes. But it is holy. Yes, it is. So the lesson is this: personal revenge is forbidden. Defending our spiritual survival is not. The challenge is knowing the difference. Not everyone who irritates us is Midian. No, they're not. Some people are just people, and somehow they too are part of God's plan. Even those who talk during my sermons. Shabbat Shalom, Am Yisrael Chai, and may our plans be wise, our souls be strong, and our air conditioning remain among the righteous. Shabbat Shalom again. And of course, we should make sure that there's peace in the world so we can all do better.